President Trump this morning posted a strong threat to Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney that he would impose a 100% tariff in response to Carney's recent moves toward building a relationship with the Chinese Communist Party. Trump warns that a deal with China would turn Canada into a drop-off port for sending Chinese goods into the U.S., something Trump says would ultimately destroy Canada's way of life. And joining us now is Casey Fleming, the chairman and CEO, Black Ops Partners Corporation, which advises on matters of national security and unrestricted warfare. He's also the author of the new book, The Red Tsunami, The Silent Storm Killing Your Freedom. Casey, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Canada and China have reached a trade agreement that includes lowering tariffs on nearly 50,000 Chinese electric vehicles. Now, this agreement marks a significant shift in Canada's foreign policy toward China, and it's just the first step toward a larger strategic partnership between the two countries. So what could this deal and the partnership mean for President Trump's trade and foreign policy goals?
Well, the decision by Prime Minister Carney is anti-U.S., directly anti-U.S. And bringing in Chinese EVs is very serious because those are weaponized vehicles for espionage, all kinds of other nefarious activities. So anything coming out of the Chinese Communist Party or China must be understood. It's probably weaponized because that is their plan. But it's an anti-U.S. move. So it's very, very serious with the Canadian people. But Prime Minister Carney basically showed his cards. He's pro-CCP, he's pro-China, and he's pro-totalitarianism, and again, anti-American.
Now, you talk about weaponization. What do you think the Chinese Communist Party ultimately wants through a partnership with Canada?
Well, they want to control Canada. Ultimately, they want to control Canada, surround Canada for ultimate takeover of the United States. Their main strategy for 27 years has been unrestricted warfare to weaken the United States and our partners, our allied partners from within. So it kills our ability to fight or our will to fight. So surrounding the United States is very, very strong for them, that they have the hearts and minds of the Canadians to be pro-CCP, at least that's their plan. And then also to have, other bases, support, so on over time in Canada, which surrounds the United States.
Now, President Trump is threatening this 100% tariff against all Canadian goods. And he's concerned that China is just using Canada to push the Chinese goods into the U.S. So how easy or difficult would it be for Trump to go through with this high tariff? For example, would he have to consider potential impacts to Americans?
To a degree, but we don't source much of our trade from Canada. There are certain items that we source, but not the spectrum. So yes, there is a threat that he'll ship products or they will ship products into the United States, but that will be controlled to a large degree. It's not going to be wholesale, not to the scale that the CCP needs, because Canada, we've got port issues, we've got security issues that are all managed pretty well. So in other words, the strategy is on paper right now. I don't think it's going to amount to anything.
And then on the Canada side, could this threat of a 100% tariff be enough to make Carney reconsider this long-term relationship with China's leaders?
Well, absolutely. The strategy by the Chinese Communist Party, as I mentioned, is unrestricted warfare. So that's what you're seeing play out with Prime Minister Carney. He is moving way past the center point and he's towards the CCP, which there's only, it's either or. You're either part of the totalitarian communist state or you're part of the free world. And Carney showed his cards. So we're hoping that, these tariffs, if they come through and they need to be done, that the Canadian people will do something, hopefully from an election standpoint, to get somebody in there that's going to be much more pro-free world, much more pro-freedom, and not so strong on the CCP, which again is anti-U.S.
And as you've been talking about here tonight, Trump sees this relationship as an opportunity for China to gain a foothold in Canada. So how would preventing the Chinese Communist Party's influence in Canada fit into the president's Dunro doctrine?
Well, you're seeing Trump beat back the Chinese aggression and the Russian aggression. He's been beating that back with Venezuela, with Iran, now with Greenland, that kind of thing. So, CCP is trying to actually, take Canada in the hearts and the minds of the Canadian government. And by the way, they've infiltrated Canada for the past 25, 30 years to a very extreme extent. And that's why you have Prime Minister Carney being so pro-totalitarian and pro-Chinese Communist Party. They've done a fantastic job of infiltrating the government, infiltrating business, even security in Canada. And that is a very, very big concern. So that's also happened to the UK. They're much further down the spectrum than the US is, even though we're not doing very well on that spectrum. The riots in Minneapolis are mostly funded by the Chinese Communist Party as part of the bigger strategy of unrestricted war. So that's how all this fits in. All this chaos that you're seeing is part of unrestricted warfare strategy by China, the grand puppeteer, underneath them, Russia, Iran, Pakistan, North Korea, Venezuela, drug cartels, and underneath Iran, you've got the terrorist organization. So all this is by design, and Trump is beating that back because for the past 2+ decades, China and Russia have been unfettered and unchecked by our administrations and the free world.
Now, you said that China has been infiltrating Canada for years now, but this willingness to partner with China, for some people, they say marks a significant shift in Canada's foreign policy. So how could a new relationship with China impact Canadians' values like freedom of religion and belief? And as we know, China is known for targeting and suppressing these kinds of rights in its own country as well as transnationally.
Well, it crosses the line, even up to the line before Carney made his decision to partner with the CCP. Even before that, we had extreme censorship of freedom of speech in Canada, not to mention UK, Australia, as well as somewhat in the US. But that is the crackdown for that is, like I said, it's unrestricted warfare. And this, they've moved much further down the spectrum towards totalitarianism, but you can absolutely count on it. Anything that holds free society together, families, fathers at the head of the family, religion, the economy, free speech, all these different rights that all the free countries do enjoy and we enjoy with our Constitution are all in jeopardy, immediate jeopardy, with our brothers and sisters to the north.
All right. Casey Fleming, always a pleasure to have you, and thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.